Aloha Manga Club, it's your boy Aloha Lee signing in finally yet again with another episode of the Manga Club. And today we are featuring RTLFaith, the king of ranking manga and anime tubers. He has a whole series going on right now where he describes what he feels are the genres within the genres. And I'm not gonna lie, RTL, I was really blessed that you threw me in there. And I might have smiled. I was a little upset that I wasn't in your most recent video to beat Nux Tuck out for all of his stuff, but what can I say? So, how are you doing, RTL?
Man, I'm just chilling, it's a pretty cool Friday. Didn't have to work today. And yeah, it's not too crazy of a day. Didn't really do anything crazy. So I've just been relaxing for the most part.
I mean, I feel you. I have not been. Thankfully, I don't actually ever have to work on Fridays. I get phone calls and text messages from everyone that I work with. I don't actually have to be there. It's super nice.
Yeah, I agree. I'm off like Fridays and I'm off Sundays, so like it's pretty like it's a weird thing because you're never off consecutive days for my job, but it's nothing too extraneous, so I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, I get I do 4 10s and it's so nice because I get to spend my entire weekend relaxing and dreading going to work. Such a nice thing. Thankfully, I don't work in. I was in retail for like 5 years. It was just.
Uh, Bro, I only could work retail like 2 months back when I was in high school. I was working at a Ross store. They had me like, doing stuff with stocking and arranging like shoes and clothes. I hated it. Like that thing sucked. I could care less about what I was there. Like, and they kept like complaining, "Yo, what? The shoes are not done properly." Blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. Like this job sucks. I just couldn't do it.
I got lucky. I worked. First retail job was working at Spencer's. Started off
Oh,
seasonal.
okay.
So but the store policies are like super strict. So you had to be there. You couldn't be on your phone, and it's a really small store. I had everything in that entire place memorized. Like I could walk around it blindfolded and pick out products that people. It was ridiculous. And I moved down to KC and worked at Dick's Sporting Goods in the fitness department. And there was no like it was a department of one because everyone else quit. So I was there by myself, and then they closed down the store. I got to stay for that, which was honestly one of the most baller times that I've ever had at a job. We got there at like 6 a.m. and just fucked around for a solid 6 7 hours. We kicked soccer balls around, tried to throw things through walls. Stupid fun.
Yeah, it definitely sounds entertaining. At that point, I guess they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
As long as we weren't breaking any super important objects, I think we're fine. So one thing that we were kind of talking about before we hit the record button for the Manga Club today is trying to come up with some really solid anime to watch and catch up on. But I want to know what you've been watching in the past, like what you've been really paying attention to. Because to me, everyone has their own taste, but I think that you and I share pretty similar taste, at least when it comes to, your typical shonen anime.
Yeah. When it comes down to stuff I really like, it's hands down Shonen, like action, adventure, and especially the ones that have like in-depth storytelling, such as like Death Note, FMA. Like I'm all for it. I do enjoy sports anime for sure. I don't really read sports manga, but I've read one sports manga, and that was Eye Shield 21.
Which is it's worth it. I love Eye Shield 21 personally.
Yeah, I read the manga, and I wouldn't recommend.
Oh damn!
By the time the end of the manga, it gets pretty racist. Gets pretty racist. How they portray black people, it's kind of interesting in Eye Shield 21, and it's an older manga, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's still not right. Yeah. How they? Yeah. With what's his name?
Like
The one the one professional NFL guy who was kind of a yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I kind of just laughed at it. So I don't take offense to stuff like that at all. But we live in 2020, so I can see it getting canceled if like it got an anime adaptation. Easy, for
It did
sure.
have an anime adaptation. True.
But the last arc is where it really got a little crazy.
It did get a little like they had one the first arc when they introduced Panther for the first time wasn't half bad because they made the coach who was being a racist jackass actually
Yeah.
come around and it showed some character progression on his part. But then, yeah, I guess looking back at it now, I can kind of see where that's at. I've never actually thought about that. Something that I've never had to deal with.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. They're calling black people like a physical specimen. Like they were just saying like black people are like the craziest like beings. It was just their portrayal of, like black athletes was very interesting to see from a Japanese perspective. And so I was kind of it was funny. I finished the manga. Uh, it's kind of realistic because the Japanese team lost to an American team at the end because Americans are physically more gifted, like if we're being honest, than
We're
most of the
taller.
world.
We're bigger. We're faster. We're stronger. We're BFG.
Yeah, so I like how they were realistic with it, but yeah, some of their remarks when it came to black people was like, "We ain't that crazy. We're not aliens now. Relax."
And I think that's actually something that a lot of Japanese manga and sports manga in particular has a lot of issues with. It's something that, it's just such a I don't want to say weird discussion, but it's an interesting like cultural study. It's how they perceive other races, how they're portrayed in the manga themselves.
Yeah, like sometimes people need to remember that at the end of the day, these are stories from Japan, so it's gonna have a Japanese cultural perspective. For example, Drifters. When I watched that anime, how they portrayed Adolf Hitler, so much more different than how Americans portray Adolf Hitler. So it's you just got to know what you're watching and where it comes from.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I forgot about Drifters and their portrayal of the big AH. Just some like Japan has some really weird cultural things that I think as Americans and as just different parts of the world, you don't understand the historical context behind what they're doing. Really easy to get lost in translation. And there's some things that just aren't acceptable in what they say or do, but there's some things that are coming like Hajime no Ippo. They had a match against a one of his very first matches as a professional boxer was against a black man, and the way they described it was just how overpowered and all of this stuff he was, and they like painted him as this god level character, and then when it came down to it, Ippo absolutely demolished him. It was just one of those weird things that they how they portray other races. Something that I've never really thought about until literally just this second.
Yeah, and another thing that's like unique to Japan is probably not the right word, but like very known when it comes to Japanese anime and manga is their thing with like incest and young girls. Like it's weird, and but Japanese, how their age of consent and everything is vastly different from America. So you can't cancel it if that's part of their culture. Like you
I
just can't.
I think if you really want to make a difference in that kind of stuff, you just choose and opt not to read it. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's my big thing is there are certain things I really don't like high school harem manga written by 40-year-old dudes that 30-year-old dudes read about like middle schoolers, and I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of harem manga, especially
Oh yeah.
when they're that young. Like I tried to read Nejima, and when I realized it was going to turn into a harem manga, I was like, oh no, he's like 10. All the girls are like 14. There is nothing okay about this with me.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of harem or etchy. really at all. I understand some people say there's certain ones that have a pretty good story. Like, that's fine. If I'm watching anime or I'm reading manga, I want either action. I want it to be action oriented, telling a really good story with like action focusing on that, or sports related because I love sports, or just high end comedy. Very, very funny. If it has those three, I'm good. Sometimes drama. Very, 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 very rarely I'll watch romance and some slice of life in there as well.
I'll watch and read rom-coms. That's about as far as I go for like romance. I just I can't do ooey gooey mushy. I just don't want to do it because my wife makes me watch those kinds of like real life movies. And I want to break from that. So
Yeah.
what's your top sports anime recommendations? Like somebody who's first coming into the genre is saying, "Man, I want to get into sports. And this is what I love." What are the three that you would tell them they have to watch like, right now?
Okay. So if I had to say like a top sports anime, if I'm being honest with myself, Haikyuu definitely deserves. It's like Haikyuu. It's about volleyball, but it's ridiculously entertaining. Like Haikyuu for sure. I think that's like the most notable one. Personal favorite, Kuroko no Basket, bro. Even though people don't like the Double Fruits basketball, whatever, it's still entertaining. Still love the antagonist group, the Generation of Miracles.
Yeah,
One
that
of the
was
yeah, very entertaining. Plus the movie, even though how they portrayed Americans in that was bad too. That movie was entertaining as hell. Like I love Kuroko no Basket. I love basketball, so that goes hand to hand. And another sports series. It's kind of tough. There's a few I've watched. I watched HS Diamond. I dropped it. I Shield 21 anime was very entertaining. Like very entertaining, I would say. I remember watching Prince of Tennis a little bit.
dude,
If you
Prince of
count martial arts,
should should count martial arts.
then I would say Kenichi the Mighty's Disciple for sure.
All see, and I was having this discussion with all day anime, like with Briggs, and he got me watching the History Strongest Disciple, Kenichi.
Yeah.
Dude, it is honestly the sound design, the animation of it is just so ridiculously over the top fun. He knew
Oh
what he
yeah.
was talking about.
Yeah, I love the Kenichi the Mighty's Disciple. The OVAs were good too, but I finished the manga too, and that was after Kenichi comes a long way, but it's one of those situations where it doesn't really change a whole lot by the end of the series. But it's still an entertaining read.
It's not like we're talking Katekyo Hitman Reborn, where Suna just literally they do almost a shot for shot remake of like the very first chapter or two in the very last chapter, which was super super annoying.
Yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of that either. At uh, like we need to Suda to. You should have just picked Haru and just been done with it. Just pick Haru.
I mean, that's all that you really can do in that situation. Instead of jumping out of window and being kind of it's whatever. It's whatever. But
Yeah.
I love the action like comedy sports like all shonen to me. You can find something fun, entertaining, and like you can turn off your mind in certain situations. But you said you like those really deep stories, you know. My least favorite manga of all time, Death Note, obviously is considered one of the greatest storytelling shonens out there. But Full
Okay.
Metal Alchemist was hands down the biggest formative manga that I got to read, and it was the first one that I got purchased to completion. I love FMA.
Okay. Yeah, I love FMA Brotherhood. It's a weird situation because like I think the general consensus in the anime fandom is FMA Brotherhood is the greatest anime of all time. I think that's the general consensus to like if you take a poll of all anime fans, FMA Brotherhood would be number one. It's number one in Mouse. So it's like perfect example. So but it's still a weird cut like you got FMA and because of how they did FMA Brotherhood's beginning wasn't like as like consistent and then after you get past that beginning it just starts cooking and just being ridiculous. So it's a little
Basically,
weird.
what Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, up until the point where Full Metal Alchemist did their weird story change, Full Metal Alchemist better, but then you transition over to Brotherhood to get the actual true story instead of some weird conceptual dreamland of Nazi Germany, Luftwaffe and balloons. I don't know. It was FMA was weird. Like that transition was weird.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the transition. Like when I first watched FMA, obviously I was entertained. It was a good anime, good story, all that was good. And then we met Sloth, and the moment we met Sloth, I think that it went downhill. I think the moment we met Sloth, and they did that entire thing with Edward's mother, Ed and Elle's mother, it just went downhill. And then we got the real story from Brotherhood, and it was like, "Yep, this is fire. This is how you should. This should have been."
You're like, this makes so much sense.
Yeah, and another example of a series that did that was Helsing. Like they got original Helsing, and then Helsing Ultimate fixed it, and it was fire.
Dude, my wife has started watching Castlevania, Evil Vampire. That thing is Castlevania is like a really, really not half bad anime.
I've never watched it as of yet. I don't have a good track record with Netflix anime originals. The first one I watched was Devilman Crybaby, and I dropped it after the second episode. So
Whoa! I've actually never watched it, so I can't make a sarcastic.
it was just a little too much, you know. I was entertained. I heard a lot of good stuff. Well, I guess that's not the best word. I heard a lot of stuff, good or bad doesn't matter. I just heard a lot of stuff about it. So I was like, all right, time to watch Devilman Crybaby. Watch the first episode. I was like, all right, cool premise, cool premise. Watch the second episode. I was like, this is kind of like a little too risque. It's like the story doesn't seem that convoluted. The protagonist is not that interesting. It's just like too much. It was just too much. Well, I don't know the best. I guess risque. I'm gonna say that it was too risque for a series.
Yeah, I ended up dropping Power of God because I just couldn't get into it. Like after the first 3 episodes, I was like, this is okay, but I don't want to waste my time watching this. Like the dude was simping over the girl way too hard. That's all that it is. He was like he literally broke into another dimension, chased after a girl who abandoned him in his sleep and didn't say what she was gonna do.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I finished the entire first season of Tower of God. I made an entire video about it. Why I thought it was actually pretty good. Uh, it's like not the most crazy plot line. And then I read the webtoon, and I realized why a lot of the webtoon readers hated Tower of God anime is because they skipped a lot of information in the anime because it's only 13 episodes. They couldn't put everything in there, so it's impossible. But the one thing that I definitely will give credit to Tower of God is I think its world building is on par with like One Piece. Like it's world building, it seems to me is going to be on par with One Piece, and it's a long running story. So I'm definitely going to stay for the ride because I feel like those type of stories always have potential to be great, especially since Tower of God's like the number one webtoon in Korea. So it's like
I think
yeah,
it's either Tower of God or the God of High School. One of those two is like number one. And
yes.
dude, God of High School, watched episode 3 last night. Oh, that sound design was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, God of High School. I've watched only episode one. I'm gonna wait until before the last episode. Then I'm gonna binge it. Then I'm gonna watch the last episode. And yeah, God of High School. Obviously, it's not as story focused, so it doesn't have Tower of God issues. It's really just focused on them fighting. It seems
It's
like so.
and honestly, if I can't, I don't want to. I hate if they go the way because I've never read the manhwa. If they go the way that this looks like it's going to go, it's going to get nuts from both a storytelling perspective and from a fight perspective. I'm just all of the excited for. I'm just only a little bit more excited than I should be.
Yeah, I'm very interested in see what route God of High School goes. It's gonna be yeah, I'm definitely excited. I've been when I reacted to the trailer, I said like, could this be the greatest martial arts anime of all time? Like, it really seems like it has that type of potential.
It has just the way that they drew it, the way that it's, sound design, everything on it is looking like it's going to be a top tier fighting anime, and I'm enjoying the ride. My wife is loving it. Like, she's actively choosing to watch it with me. Normally it's, we watch something random and she'll tune in every now and then, but she sat down and adamantly watched Tower of God. She's looking forward to the new. She's upset that it's going to be a movie, but she's looking forward to the new content for Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, I'm. It's kind of weird because Demon Slayer's manga is kind of like done already. So we're about to get that movie, and since you got all the manga done, like there's no excuse. Like Demon Slayer outsold One Piece. Like it's literally one of the first manga to ever do that in a long time.
In the
So
past 10 years.
facts. So there's no excuse for Demon Slayer to have its full anime come out in the next 2 years.
Oh,
Like I don't think.
it better. It's only 180 chapters.
Yeah, like keep up the hype is still there. You need to keep up the hype and bring out the entire anime to really benefit from it.
And I will be a One Piece stan right here. I think part of the reason why they outsold is One Piece didn't have a book come out in the same point in time. Plus, the anime just exploded. I don't think this is controversial. I think the anime is good, but I don't think it's as good as what people were trying to hype it up to be. I think it got way overhyped.
Oh no. When it comes to like I try to be pretty objective with my rankings and with my depictions if a series is underrated or overrated. Demon Slayer is good. It's a very good series. It was way overrated. People would say it was the best anime of all time. People say it was the greatest shonen of all time. Like it was too overrated, and that's unfortunate because it was good. Like it was good, really good. But it was really overrated by the annoying Demon Slayer fan base.
The,
Like it
the,
was,
the hype killed. They're like, it's the best anime ever. I was like, it's not even the best anime this year. Like, we had Vinland
yeah.
Saga. We had Mob Psycho Season 2 come out. Dude, Mob Psycho Season 2, that was something. That hit different. That was good.
Oh yeah, that was entertaining. I can't wait for Mob Psycho season 3.
I think Season 3 is going to be the last one. I think that's how I think the story's over after Season, from my understanding. I'm okay with that.
Hey, the guy who created Mob Psycho and One Punch Man, he's on a mission. Like he needs to, he needs to just. One Punch Man's in a weird state. Like, where's this story going? Like, I don't know what's going on with One Punch Man.
I don't think anyone does except for one. That's the way that he's doing it. Like, one understands the human condition so well, though. Like, he's able to throw different emotions and different desires onto his main characters and make One Punch Man and Mob Psycho feel completely different, even though they were written at the same point.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like Mob Psycho, it's not focused on the protagonist having a journey. It's more focused on the protagonist trying to understand himself and trying to fit into the world. Where Saitama just wants to, punch people. And it's like, in One Punch Man, there's only so many villains you can create that's gonna be good enough for Saitama to punch. Like he's killed the galactic boss villain. He's killed like the sea villain. He's killed like the mad scientist. He killed like the strongest monster ever created. Like, how much villains are you gonna create for Saitama to beat before like you run out of ideas?
It'll have to be soon. There's like, he's defeated the Monster Association. He's defeated the only one that I think he's gonna be able to go up against is Garo. Can't say that. I think that's
Yeah,
the guy's
but
name.
even then, like Garo's fighting. I forget what number hero the guy he's fighting is right now. I didn't he say he was like the strongest human too? The one Garo's fighting right now, or
Maybe.
say something like that. Which I don't believe, because Bang is definitely would beat his ass, and then Tornado would destroy him. Like Tornado is definitely the strongest one, other than Blast. We don't know anything about Blast.
Blast is the most mysterious character in One Punch Man. That's
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Final Fight, Saitama versus Blast.
Turns out
Yeah.
that Blast is a villain.
Yeah. Number one hero of the Hero Association is the villain.
That's so cliche. It's got to be that's got to be the case. It's so cliche.
And it's a parody, so he could just do it just cause. To be
So,
fair, oh, real quick. To be fair, there's still the entire storyline with Genos and the person who killed his town. So that's still a story plot that's yet to kind of get resolved.
which it should have been like they've literally fought all of the villains by now, and you're telling me that Genos, with all of his cybernetic enhancements and access to the best hero rankings in the world, can't find the guy who blew up an entire frickin' town. Like it's probably gonna be Blast. Blast is probably gonna be the one who blew up his entire town, so it's gonna be Genos v Blast. Genos is gonna get some really good hits in on him, but Blast is gonna defeat him. And then Saitama's gonna finally say, "Oh, this is my friend. I need to help defend my friend instead of just trying to fight the strongest person. Go up, beat Blast, and that's how it's gonna end."
That'd be something. But they are hinting at Drive Night or Metal Night because there's like an entire thing with one of them's a traitor. So they're trying to figure out who's the traitor is out of like the scientists. And it's they're kind of hinting towards it in this arc too because I don't remember the kid's name, but someone told the kid, "Hey, don't trust these people because there's like a traitor." So it seems like they're eventually maybe next arc they're gonna go the route where there's like a civil war in the Hero Association.
Kind of like how there's eventually gonna be a civil war in the My Hero Academia war. It's
Yeah,
coming. It's coming.
but hey, I'm down for Saitama and Tornado to have a conversation again, bro. Those two characters, she's the only one who can handle him, and he's the only one who can handle her, you know?
Hey, you know what? That's what true love's all about. Handling somebody else's shit.
But her sister would be pretty jealous if Tornado takes Saitama from her.
Yeah, but her sister's like just a lower level, so it's fine. She like
True.
you have to be able to challenge Saitama physically, not just mentally.
Very true. She could end up with Genos if that
I
kind of works.
I think that'd be adorable. Cybernetic witch baby, cybernetic psychic baby. Yeah, hell yeah! I am
Yeah,
so down to see that happen.
it could work. It could work. But yeah. Oh, what were you saying before?
So okay, I'm curious because you're sitting at like 11 to 1,120 odd subs on YouTube, or no, you're sitting at almost 1,200, right? You're sitting at 1,320-ish subs right now. What I
Yeah.
want to know is how did you get started making videos on YouTube? What was that initial drive for you to get creative?
Um. So my initial drive, uh, it's a kind of weird situation. It's kind of unnatural. So my passion to start creating YouTube videos was the Rant Cafe because they love talking about anime and debating about anime.
Mhm.
And I'm an avid fan of debating because that's kind of what I do. Um, and then I love anime. So it just kind of went hand in hand and make some anime content, talk about some opinions and try to tell everybody how I'm right and they're wrong. That's kind of how, the passion started. How my video creating process started originally is like my first video, which is still on my channel, is how I talked about how the Marine Corps reservists it truly is because I used to be in the Marine Corps Reserves. And that was my first video. And I talked a lot of crap about the Marine Corps Reserves because they kind of screwed me over. So that was like my first video. And after that situation, I kind of rethought like how I should approach life. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to chill. I'm going to enjoy my life and do things that's fun. And that's when, I'm going to start making YouTube videos. Kind of started with Black Clover. That was kind of the initial. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning of how I was approaching stuff and doing stuff. And then, eventually I kind of started figuring out the kinks later on.
And I mean, your first anime related video was the Asta and Yuno are the best rivalry in anime. Do you still feel they're the best rivalry in anime?
Well, my thing is they're like the best rivalry in shonen, and I still I'm still with that. There's very few times where I'll say, okay, I might have gone a little bit too far, you know. But for that, I'm still kind of there. I think Asa and Yuno's rivalry is still the best in shonen, from what I've seen so far. Yeah, I'm still with it.
Okay, I can respect that. I've after like they because they don't actually hate each other. They're genuinely like best friends and rivals, and they don't really hide it either. It's not like Sasuke and Naruto who are just sitting there butthurt at each other the entire time. These two are
Yeah,
like straight up friends.
yeah, they're friends. Well, I mean, they're brothers. They're brothers. They're friends, but they're not super close, and they're not hate. They don't hate each other. They're not to the point where like, oh, they're like the bestest friends, like Hilu or Argon, nor do they hate each other like Deku or Bakugo, or Vegeta or Goku, or the weird relationship between Sasuke and Naruto for most of Naruto.
That was
It's
such a
like
good relation.
what they're doing their own things and becoming stronger their own ways, and when they need each other they'll be there for each other, and when they're but they always want to compete and better each other at the same time. So it's like it's like the best rivalry. And
It's I and after watching 50, sorry, under 50, it was after watching 37 episodes of Black Clover in a week and a half, maybe. Yeah, I agree that they have probably my favorite rivalry of any anime, shonen anime that I've seen in the past year, at the very least, because no one else really does rivalry in a fun, entertaining way.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I do want to point out that your most popular video actually came out 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
And it was Aaron's True Feelings from Attack on Titan, chapter 130. And it
yeah.
looks like a lot of your top videos are either Black Clover or Attack on Titan. Like, what is it
Facts.
about those two series that like lets you drive that passion that people get to connect with?
So that's a good, like, I think, I'm pretty intertwined with like the Black Clover community. I know quite a few Black Clover content creators, a good number actually. And like it's when it came to YouTube, there's like a lot of YouTubers that grew up with Naruto and One Piece. Example, Swag Kage, Rogers Base, Tekken 101. So they grew up with their series when it comes to like a content perspective. Not that that's what I meant by like a content perspective. They are doing it while the series grows. And when I started my channel, like I was like thinking, what is the series? Because like I could do One Piece content, but it's like 900 chapters into One Piece, and I'm not gonna outsmart Tekken 101.
I
Like
don't
that's
think
just not gonna happen.
it's physically impossible. The man is, and I've said this whenever Tekken's name gets brought up, you just got to say the man is an encyclopedia of knowledge. Like he straight up he can go on for 40 minutes on one subject 3 to 4 times a week. The man is a robot.
Oh yeah. So it's like, nah, I can't do One Piece. But the thing is, like, Black Clover is still in its relatively early stages. It's still getting its feet wet. It just got its time skip not too long ago, and and it took me a while, but I was like, Black Clover is really good. I think it's like the best new age like battle shonen out right now, and that's why I was like, I could grow with Black Clover, and as long as it stays entertaining, I can grow with it. Black Clover has had its best arc is going on right now, so it's getting better every arc. It's crazy. And then Attack on Titan, bro, Attack on Titan is like my favorite manga. It has my favorite protagonist, and I'm telling people it's gonna have the greatest anime of all time by next year. Like it is, people are not ready with Attack on Titan. They aren't ready.
Yeah, I'm about to break your heart, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
I read Attack on Titan all the way to I did all the way until the reveal of who the armored Titan was. I
Oh
made it
man,
all
it's
the
so
way there,
early.
and I was like, man, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. As much as you like Aaron, like you have to admit at the very beginning, Aaron was Deku. All that he did was cry and whine. Like, that's Like that's
Hey,
exclusively what he did in the very beginning.
hey, listen up. I did a video saying why Aaron's the greatest shonen protagonist of all time. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Aaron has the two facets of his personality. This is like my biggest point. This is what makes him the greatest shonen protagonist. Early on, he had the simple shonen protagonist formula. Very simple. He had a goal. He wanted to accomplish that goal. His goal was to kill all the Titans. He wasn't a smart protagonist in the beginning. He wasn't a like very in-depth protagonist in the beginning. He had a goal. He wanted to accomplish a goal. A very simple shonen protagonist formula that a lot of people could understand right off rip. Okay. So Aaron, so we see this character and we see him like, oh, I want to kill all Titans. They killed his family. Very justifiable reason to kill all the Titans. Now we get more story. He learns more about the Titans. He learns more about the history. And we went from the simple protagonist formula to Lelouch 2.0. That is what Aaron Yeager turns into in the second half of the series. That's all I had to say, really. So that transformation not only is the greatest character development in protagonist history, I feel like that complete character like change makes him the greatest shonen protagonist. Like it's not as simple as he starts off like ridiculously smart, or he starts off simple, pretty much ends simple. No, he starts off simple, learns more about the world, adapts to what the world is telling him, makes his own goal from what the world did to him, and then decides to do what he has to do and decides to manipulate everybody. Man, he gets ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what everyone always says. I just couldn't make it past that first. I literally couldn't make it past the first half. I was like, that was right when. That's right when I started reading it right before the anime came out and right before it like started popping. I feel bad. Like I'm gonna have to go through and read it. I know that, but uh
Yeah. I'll say Isayama doesn't have like the greatest artwork, but the story he is telling is absolutely ridiculous. And if you know how Oda does stuff, like he puts stuff in the beginning of the story and it kind of comes full circle.
yes.
Isayama has been doing that since chapter 1. The title from chapter 1, I'm not gonna say anything, bro. Since chapter 1, it's one of those situations. Like for me personally, I'm not when the final season comes out, I'm gonna rewatch all of Attack on Titan because what I know now, and I go back and see, oh crap, bro, he's been doing the stuff that you're gonna be learning and the things he's doing right now. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like not the same series, kind of like it's crazy.
Dude, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Oda here, but I don't think Oda plans half the things that he does. He just says random things in the story. It may or may not be something that he picks up later on. He's like, he just flips through the old manga, found something that I haven't used yet. Let's do this shit.
Hey, that's how you got to do sometimes. You got to always call back on your own story. You got to remember what you're doing.
But Oda's a genius, I think. But I think he's also helped pave the way for different storytelling mediums.
Yeah, that is for sure a fact. I saw someone go on Twitter. He was like doing a joke kind of thing. He was like, "Oh, this anime is like Dark Naruto, and this one's Pirate Naruto. This is Samurai Naruto." And all I said was like, "One Piece Naruto is bootleg One Piece."
It's
So
dude, you're not. I mean, technically, Naruto came out in '99. One Piece came out in '97. So if we're gonna say which one right now better first, we all know One Piece was first.
yeah. Like I wasn't being serious with it, but I like those people who keep on making the jokes kind of annoying because Naruto's a bootleg off of someone else. So it's like,
I mean,
eh,
let's be honest here. Naruto is a bootleg Goku, if anything. Sasuke's bootleg
yeah,
Vegeta.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like you got to have inspiration from somewhere. At the end of the day, like original ideas are very far and in between.
Dude,
Uh,
we started getting into an
yeah,
argument at work on Wednesday about like how original like certain anime are. I'm like, and which ones were like really really groundbreaking and all that. I had to like argue and pull up Wikipedia, show that Dragon Ball, like the OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z anime, like came out in 1987. It was decades ahead of its time with it when it came to like animation artwork and animation style.
Yeah, we had a recent podcast episode and we were talking about the most important anime of all time, and the consensus like was Dragon Ball Z. No matter how much you hate Dragon Ball Z, like that was it, when it came out, it changed like anime for the West
It
dramatically.
the only way that you could argue any different is the original big three in the United States before Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece were Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and DBZ. Like those are the OG big three. Like
Yeah, and for Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, people don't really see those as anime. Like Pokemon was a video game, and Yu-Gi-Oh was a card game that everybody wanted to play. DBZ was like the first people like, okay, this is something else.
dude, that we I we also came to the collective decision that Gohan in the OG DBZ, like before the Buu saga, Gohan was the man. In that scene where he's just destroying Cell Juniors and then he one shots Cell. There's no more iconic scene to me than Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 and just wrecking the entire place.
Oh yeah, yeah, fantastic scene. And then we know what happens with Gohan afterwards, but it it is what it is.
They did him dirty, and that's okay. You're allowed to do your own characters dirty. It's not like I'm upset. It's not like I hold a grudge. It's not like I hate the Boo saga specifically because of that. Dude, 100%. Did him so wrong. Like every single time that they bring Gohan like into the story now, I'm disappointed because he should be better than he is.
Yeah, like he should be strong, the strongest one, but he's just not.
He was in the end of Dragon Ball Z, and this was confirmed. He was the strongest unfused character in the series.
Facts. Ultimate Gohan was stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, confirmed.
And so when people are like, "Yeah, Goku deserved to be God," I'm like, Gohan was a god. Like Gohan had his ki awakened by Supreme Kai, by Elder Kai. Like he was like put his hands on him. That should have been the awakening of God form.
Yeah, and then Gohan stopped training and became absolutely useless by the time Super came around.
And then Krillin was able to fight against Super Saiyan Goku. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother rant as to that's not how this works.
Yeah, it's kind of weird with the God Key because it's people. I mean, technically, it's like not a power level, more like a more controlled key, but still, like having all these older characters fight with these like god tier characters. It was weird. Master Roshi was from Dragon Ball. Like he didn't do anything relevant in Dragon Ball Z, and this man was from Dragon Ball, and he came and was like fighting on par with god level characters. Like what?
It because he had Master Roshi had Ultra Instinct already. I'm like that doesn't matter. I was like you can't do this. Like you already revealed his buff form when he was, young, like back in the early days of Dragon Ball. I know that Master Roshi is technically immortal. It's fine. Actually, did you know that, by the way? That Master
No.
Roshi is technically immortal?
I mean, he never ages, so I don't want to be surprised. But
He I think he drank like he either drank the Eternal Youth elixir or some shit like that, and so he is genuinely like unless you physically kill him, he'll never die from old age.
hey, I mean, the man's just doing what he's doing, and it is what it is.
So what videos do you have like in rolling around in your head? Like I mentioned at the very start, you're doing an interesting series where you're actually ranking, anime tubers, manga tubers. I call it like it is. Oh, you're ranking otaku tubers, and it's really entertaining to watch. Like what brought this up?
When it comes to ideas in my head, it just pops and I go for it. I don't like to like oversell myself, but I definitely would say I'm a pretty creative person. Like from not even just YouTube, the ideas I come up with in general situations back in high school, college, middle school. Like in elementary school, I literally wrote, directed, and I wouldn't say produced, but wrote an entire script and directed it for a little like for a history class, like a little film. And we didn't even have to go that far. Like that wasn't even the project. I was like, you know what, this was pretty cool. So I just wrote a script down, and then we performed it. We got an easy A+ because we killed it. So it was like I could come up with pretty creative ideas, and something just popped in my head. What type of AniTubers are you? And I started thinking of AniTubers in my head. It's like, all right, Nux Taco is more of like a meme guy, and there's a lot of huge people who try to be like Nux. So I say memer. We got philosophical people like Anime Uproar. We got people like Tekken 101, who's like encyclopedias and like certain specific series. So eventually I came up with all the ideas, made a video, and then I came up with another idea. Hey, what if we actually put these dudes in the category from that video I just made not too long ago? So we did that, and that was really entertaining. And then I said we might do a part 2 at the end of the video. And then I was like, all right, if we hit, I put a pretty big like goal because I didn't like, I wouldn't mind doing a part 2, but like if we didn't, I wouldn't be mad. So I was like 30 likes part 2. And then it was like, all right, a day passed by, 25 likes. I was like, oh crap, we're doing a part 2. All right. It is what it is then.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Probably gonna get another. I think we had like 30 AniTubers from the last one, so probably get a good number. And then I wouldn't say ranking them, more like organize them based on what category they would be, based on like the type of content that they're really known for or would be best at. Is how we kind of did the video.
Which, I mean, obviously, I'm in triple S trash tier. That's the kind of content that I make. I know where I am and I accept it. How long does it take from like your conception, the conception of your idea, actually making the video? Because I know for me, sometimes I'll think of a video, I'll start filming, and then by the very end of my recording, it's a completely different video. I've already had to edit it, upload it, like I have to do the entire process again. Or I've had video ideas for like the past 3 years that I just haven't wanted to do. Do you think of an idea and do it that same day, or do you take a little bit of time, do a little bit of research, and just kind of build the idea?
I guess there's 2 ways I do it. Because we got the podcast and then we got the normal channel. For the podcast, I just put the idea in the idea pool and we just go for it. I already told you about the straw hat idea. I just came up with it. I was like, yo, this is gonna bang. It's a great idea. So this will be very entertaining. And then for my video ideas, I also put in like a list. I was like, all right, I could possibly do this in the future, and I'll erase it if I think it would suck later on the day. And then I'll put it. If it requires a script, I'll write a script. Usually, most of my videos are unscripted, mainly because I don't like writing a script down and reading off a script. So usually they're unscripted. Maybe I might put some bullet point downs depending on the video. But yeah, usually I do that. Record the video, edit. It requires a good number of edits. It'll take me a while. If it requires top tier editing, I'm gonna have a friend do it. So that's pretty much how I do it.
I've realized after talking with Spooky that I want to try to do script videos because they're fun and entertaining. There's something a little bit different that you can add on, but I have no idea how to add. Like, I'm the worst when it comes to adding clips over the rest of my video.
What do you mean by adding clips over?
Like, just taking scenes from anime, choosing the right scenes to match up with the discussion that I'm having. Because I have them in my head, and I kind of know where to find them. It's just finding them and then making sure that it matches up perfectly with the way that I envision it. Because I'm such a perfectionist that if it feels like it's half a thing off, like if you were to watch me do some edits, like when I do even the most minor like things that pop on screen, I will 100% time it and like listen through it, watch it, to make sure that it makes like is perfect to me, because I know that if I approve of it, like not to sound kind of snobbish, like I have such a high standard for myself that I know that if I approve of it, other people are. There's sometimes like with the Manga Club, part of the reason why I don't go through and like I told you at the beginning of this, and I tell all of my guests, I don't edit anything except for trim at the very beginning and trim at the very end. Partially because I want us to be able to experience this conversation fully, and I'm worried that if I hear a single problem with the sound, I'm gonna freak out on myself. Be like, nope, 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 gotta redo the whole thing. And so I edit it like I'll do some simple sound editing to make sure that everything's level, and then clip off the beginning, kick it out.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It took me a while to kind of figure out the proper way to edit. I'm not even a good editor. I would say I'm okay-ish. You know, sometimes I can do a pretty good job, but most of the time, I'm probably just too lazy to really go for it. I'm not the biggest fan of editing itself. Sometimes it can be entertaining if you're like having like creating while you're editing, because I definitely get why people would like it. But the thing is, I think for the it definitely depends on like the type of content you're doing. Especially when it comes to chapter reviews, because I do that quite often, especially with Black Clover and Attack on Titan. I don't really do have to do a lot, and it makes it pretty easy for me. I just go, I might have some bullet points down, and then I talk about the chapter, elicit my opinions, and have a panel, you know, pop in every once in a while when I'm talking about said topic, and then video over. You know, pretty easy way to do chapter reviews. So
you make your
it
chapter
definitely
reviews so complicated. You make them so complicated.
right, yeah, definitely. So
Actual
complicated.
editing and planning in a chapter review video. What is this? High quality productions over here?
Right, bro. Movie style quality. You know what I'm saying? Movie style quality.
I so the Hajime no Ippo review that I put out this week, I filmed in the amount of time that it took me to film is the exact amount of time that it took me to record. Like the exact length of the video minus like 4 seconds at the beginning and 4 seconds at the end. That was it. Because I reacted the chapter as I was reading it. Then I edited it, rendered it, went to the gym, came back. Like as it was rendering here, I started rendering it, made my thumbnail, went to the gym, came back, and uploaded it all. Like the entire process to do chapter review took me under 30 minutes.
Yeah, that. See, I do chapter reviews on the main channel, and now I'm my second channel, and I do chapter reactions. So the chapter reviews, you know, I already read the chapter and kind of thought about it a little bit. Chapter reactions, I just do that. I just react to the chapter. I don't even, you know, record. I just stream it and then let the stream just upload to my channel. So I do even less than you do for my chapter reactions. I'm just like, okay, cool chapter, done.
I
You know,
used to and when I used to do my chapter, because I don't know how far back you've ever looked at my videos, but I used to do Eden Zero chapter reviews and chapter reactions back on like chapter one, like back when Eden Zero was brand new. And I used to do a whole bunch of stuff. I would sit there and I would make sure that the pages were on the screen as I was reading it so people could read along with me. I was doing a bunch of other stuff. At the same time, I was doing Hinamaru Zumo, which, by the way, absolutely fun series to watch.
okay.
But then I got like a copyright strike because I had the panels up. So I retroactively went through and deleted every single video that ever had a panel in it because I was like, nah, screw this. Because Shueisha 2 years ago was going on this absolutely massive like ban of anything that had like
Ooh.
you couldn't even show if I physically had the book in my hands physically I couldn't show pages of the books because they go through and copyright strike you.
Speaking of that, so when I started my channel, I did the exact same thing, and I got 2 copyright strikes on my main channel, and I was like, this is not good. So I deleted all my chat. I deleted a lot of content after that. Then I do chapter reviews how I do now, which is, you know, I don't get any copyright anything for my for those. Now, with that said, solo leveling is now doing the same thing because a lot of people, because when it came to the webtoon, people were showing the entire webtoon because it was fine. Like a lot of people were doing it, there was no issues, and I did it for two solo leveling read-throughs. I was doing it on my main channel, and then I got just recently I got a copyright strike for the solo leveling read-through for the webtoon. So I deleted that and I deleted the other one because I was like, all right, solo leveling. Yeah. So, and then I heard Heavenly Controller. You know who Heavenly Controller is?
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty big YouTuber. He got a copyright strike on his solo leveling read-through as well. So it's like solo leveling's now doing it. The company that has solo leveling is now copyright striking everybody's solo leveling webtoon read-throughs. So what I'm doing now, obviously no solo leveling with webtoons. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But that's why I don't do reactions or read-throughs on this channel. I'm going to strictly do it on my second channel. I'll do reactions, read-throughs, and I'm reading Tower of God. I'm going to read Cod of High School. And, if that channel gets deleted, I don't really care. I mean, I do care, but, it is what it is.
It's not your main channel. You're like,
yeah.
Like as much as it sucks, at least it's not the one that you've been putting all of your hard work in for the past over a year.
Yeah. But the second channel is fun, so I hope it doesn't get deleted because I want to put gameplay on that second channel as well. And I'm starting like a manga read through. Obviously, I'm not putting any panels in my reaction, and I think I'm kind of feeling to read. I have an entire manga list that I have to read now all of a sudden. So
it's a curse. What can I say? It's a curse.
Yeah, This is the manga that I have to read because I thought back on the anime that I used to watch when I was younger and I didn't know anything about manga, so I probably should read the manga for that as well. So I got to read Medica Box. I got to read that because the anime is actually entertaining, very entertaining. Fire Force, very entertaining. Although I hate Tamaki, I hate her existence. Worst character ever. Kame ga Kill. I dropped the anime for a Kame ga Kill. Hey, I got me angry.
Kame ga Kill. That's the one with the soup, like the rich people who own and kill. Which one is the Kame ga Kill? Am I getting that confused with?
No, I think you're right. It was like the first episode is like there's a rich people killed the main character's friends. And they were torturing them.
They pretend to be really nice, and he believes them, and then he finds out they're right. That's which one it is. And there's a really weird curly I remember that one, and I heard it ended terribly.
Yeah, I dropped it because too many characters were dying, and I was getting pissed off. So I was like,
too many characters are dying, but you're over here reading Attack on Titan.
Oh, it was too many main characters died. Like these were important characters. Like every episode, another main character dies. Like, what are we doing, bro? How am I gonna enjoy a series if there's no main character?
When they killed the spear guy, I don't even care if this is spoilers. You remember when they killed the spear guy in Akame ga Kill?
Yeah.
That's when I was like, no, he was my favorite. No. Can't do that.
Bro, it was when I dropped it when they killed that one girl who's one of the more recent ones to join their group. She got her head cut off by that crazy chick but with the teddy bear.
That crazy teddy bear chick was absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah, she went off the deal, and when I saw her head on there, I was like, bro, I dropped the series. I was like, are you kidding me? She just got here. Oh my god.
She just let her breathe before you kill her.
Yeah, I was done. I was done with the series, and I found out the main character dies at the end, and I was like, what? I actually like him. He's pretty decent. And then one thing for Akame ga Kill is I love Esdeath. I love Esdeath. That's it.
Okay, that would suck. I can't.
But I heard the manga is very vastly different. So
I've heard the manga's decent.
Yeah, it's very different. So I'll give it a shot. Deadman Wonderland.
Wonderland is.
I have to read that.
That thing is good.
I have to continue Made in Abyss from the movie. Got to continue it. It's a really good story. Very good. I enjoy it. Eventually Demon Slayer, one of these days. Vinland Saga, I heard it's a premier manga. That's what I've heard. on par with like Berserk, that type top tier.
I would put it there.
Doctor Stone eventually. Senku, one of my favorite protagonists. He's carrying that series.
If you didn't have Senku, you wouldn't have anybody. That entire series
Facts.
would crash.
Yeah, that's the perfect example where a protagonist is literally carrying your series, bro. Oh, bro, Senku's amazing.
Senku is so entertaining too.
Facts. I love Senku. Maybe I'll read Beelzebub because I remember watching the anime. So maybe.
So the creator Beelzebub actually has a new manga. He has a brand new manga out, and it's Cop and Dolphin.
What?
Yes, it follows a story of a man, a hard boiled it's hard boiled cop and dolphin. That's what the name of the manga is. And it follows a story of basically those '80s cop movies where you have your
Yeah.
like lone cop who's like a rogue good guy going up against everybody. That's your
Yeah.
main character, and your secondary main character is a dolphin, like an anthropomorphic dolphin.
This guy makes weird, like even Beelzebub was just a weird little shonen, bro.
The
Oh,
teleportation guy who opened up his body and opened up doors to different dimensions, which was just strange. Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest. I'm so excited to read more of Hardboiled Detective, Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin, just because it's so strange.
yeah, bro. I heard. That definitely sounds unique. I think that's the best way to put it. Unique.
It's unique. So we are getting kind of near the end of the episode, but there's
All
one
right.
more question that I really want to ask you, and I like to ask everyone, especially on their first time here. And that is, where do you really see the future of otaku tube going in the future? Like, where do you see everyone growing? Because with you, you've had your kind of finger on that pulse, putting people not necessarily into boxes, but really sorting out what people are, what kind of creators people are. And do you think we're going to see a shift coming up in the future?
um. No, I mean, at the end of the day, like every like type of YouTuber, we got the Fortnite community on YouTube, we got the basketball NBA 2K community, we got the general horror game people, we got the vloggers. At the end of the day, every like section of YouTube has the different type of creators subcategories within itself. And like the only thing that could possibly change is like more people, because I made a category called live action weeb. I think it's very possible that could be a more popular category for the future because that is more personable. You get more. That's why a lot of like bigger creators are transitioning to that to like show themselves in the brain, becoming more of a personality than a content creator. I think that's very possible for the AniTube community. However, like I'm gonna be honest here, out of every section of YouTube, the AniTube community is the least likely to transition to that one easiest. Because if we're being honest, a lot of like AniTubers as people don't have like the most extreme like social skills compared to a lot of the other people we see on YouTube. So
I think the
like
only ones the ones who are already big, who are still technically content creators instead of personalities, they're the only ones who really have shown their personalities in that kind of way. Like the Anime Man, Giguk, like they form theirs a lot more on their personalities now than they used to, but they're still focusing on the content. They have 1.5 million subs.
oh yeah, like that will always be prevalent, but eventually, a perfect example is like, Nux Taku. He made the type of content he used to make before was like, killing it. It was original. It was kind of game breaking. Now he's doing more content that he enjoys, but that doesn't get probably as much traction than his content used to. But people are mostly coming now because of it's Taku, not because it's content. His personality is carrying it. So it's possible for people, but it's definitely harder for the AniTube community because if we're being honest, with like a lot of these YouTubers have the best social skills and are just like you know able to just go out, do
My
things like a normal
my
person in
social
a lot of
skills are
situations.
trash. I will agree to.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. YouTube. That's why a lot of people are switching to streaming. You know, because people want to be, more connected to their audience in a more personable manner than you know. I say that, and then we got VTubers becoming a thing now, which kind of defeats the entire purpose. So, I don't know if we're going forward actually. So we might kind of be stuck in a little stalemate.
So we'll change, adapt, overcome. Over the past 3 years, I can tell you that we've changed dramatically. We used to only show hands in manga when we were talking about manga reviews and manga hauls, and then we started to transition more towards people showing their faces. I think we've been doing a good job, but it's now time for the most important portion of the Manga Club. The
All right.
end all be all. If you've listened to this before, you know it's time for the serious question and the random question. One of
Okay.
them, both of them are made up on the spot. I never know what they're going to be. Like just now, I didn't think about this silly question until looking at my Birdie Bots every flavored beans pack sitting on my desk.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
What
Shoot.
is your Spirit Birdie Bot every flavored bean? Like what flavor of Birdie Bot every flavored bean are you?
Um, I definitely could answer the question if I knew the flavors, but I don't.
When it says every flavor, it means every flavor.
Okay. Uh, I'll go with a cool, mint with a little kind of, and sometimes a little throw in with some pizzazz here and there with a little spice.
Oh, little mitten spice every flavored bean? I can respect that. I
Yeah.
myself am absolutely a buttered popcorn kind of jelly bean. I'm gonna be honest here. Like
Okay.
the peanut butter popcorn jelly beans that they actually exist are baller. But you know what? I want to try this spicy mint that you're talking about. Is it like are we talking like a mixture of God, what was that cinnamon flavor gum? The red, the you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
used to look like when we were kids. We used to lick the foil and stick it onto our forehead because it would tingle a little bit and it felt weird.
Is it like five gum?
Yeah, no, it's older than 5. It's I can't remember, but so oh man, you know what? Now I have to try that jelly bean. You've gotten me intrigued in a jelly bean flavor that doesn't exist, but now I need to try it.
There you go.
Big Red. It was Big Red gum. My
Big
wife's
red.
so
Okay.
my wife's over here helping me out, making me not look quite as bad.
Okay. All
And
right. Big red gum. There we go. We got an answer.
and the final question, and I joke, what do you have coming up, and where can people find?
What do I have coming up? I guess a pretty interesting video I got coming up is Naruto Jeopardy, where we're gonna have some Naruto YouTubers on. I got the Jeopardy board game set and ready, and we just got to figure out who's the most knowledgeable Naruto YouTuber. So that's a
Who's all gonna be on it this time?
So the ones that are gonna be on it is T Bry, my boy T Bry. Anime Sage is gonna be on it. Um, Zaxi is gonna be on it. I don't know about Dono. Don't know if he's gonna be on it. TK Dono. Eddie Hates Anime is plans to be on it as well. I do know other like Naruto creators, but I have a kind of weird relationship with them, so they're probably not going to be on it. But yeah, those are the people that are featured.
I can. I'm excited. And I have actually been on your podcast, Kickback Anime Discussions,
Yes, sir.
and that will be linked in the description down below because that was a blast and a half. Where I was, I had a great time, and I'm so sad that I know you invited me onto Kickback Anime Discussions this weekend as well, and I would have gladly been on to host the One Piece Pirate Contest and who has the best One Piece crew. But unfortunately, I already had plans. Next time, though, next time that you got something One Piece related, you know your boy is in.
All right, I got you. Yeah, this weekend it should be a fun. It should be a fun one to see everybody's Straw Hat Cruise. I still think mine's is the best. You
I
know,
mean,
I
after hearing most of the characters on your crew, I have to agree. Yours is pretty OP, but I think there's a few things that you could do to change it. We'll see. We'll see how yours comes out in the very end. For
yeah.
everyone else, you guys know where to find me because you're obviously watching the Manga Club right now. Check out RTLFaith down in the description below because he is an absolute killer dude with a killer attitude. And like I said, guys, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to both myself and to Mr. Faith over here because he's the big man in the house today. For everyone, new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohali, and I will see you next video.